That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot for most B2B companies.
Anytime you get a head nod, you know that it's reaffirming what you're saying.
It was always the same story. It was always like, we've been running this test for 4 weeks now. Option B1 with 0.003%. Non-conclusive. Thank you for nothing. And I'll die on that hill.
There's going to be a hill that Ómar dies on in every episode. And chances are you're not going to burn the house down.
Episode 4, Season 1. Welcome back to All the Hats. My name is Ómar.
My name's Alicia, and this is our producer, Dino.
I haven't changed clothes in 3 weeks.
What do you think about A/B tests?
I mean, I love the idea. I'm a big YouTube fan, and you can A/B test thumbnails and see who clicks. But I do know sometimes if you don't get enough views on the video, the results are inconclusive, is a lot of the times I get. So I run into that quite often.
Yeah. I mean, I can totally see why it's so sexy to do an A/B test. You're kind of like, I want to know definitively which is better.
Yeah.
This or this. So let's talk a little bit about what an A/B test is. A perfect A/B test is 2 scenarios. For instance, 2 versions of your website that are identical, or 2 campaigns that are identical, except you change one thing. And then you put both of them live and you see which performs better.
And that thing could be anything. Because when I think about A/B testing, I mean, maybe because messaging runs and is coursing through my blood. But like, I think a word, but it could be anything. It could be what, like a picture of your, an image, the background color, anything.
Could be pretty much anything. Is the CTA button in the right place? Is it the right color? Are you have the right images? Is this page longer than the other one? There's a ton of things you could test. For instance, Donald Trump is famous for his A/B testing, actually.
What?
Yes. He's a big A/B testing guy. Him and his team probably. So he does a lot of what do you call fundraising? So for his campaigns and presidential campaigns. So Donald Trump is famous for having A/B testing him with different color ties, or like this smile or this smile. So they A/B test the hell out of his fundraising campaigns.
Okay, interesting.
And landing
but
pages.
how are they measuring this?
So let's say Donald Trump wants to fundraise a little bit of money. He's going 4 more years, and he puts up a web page where people can kind of donate to the campaign, to his fundraising. So he will put up 2 different versions of the web page, one with a blue tie or one with a red tie. This is an example.
Okay.
And then if he sees a significantly better result on blue tie, then he will go with that version, and then he will split that version up into another test. And then he does another test and another test and another test and another test. And this is what Amazon does all the time.
And I mean, as the election proved, Trump does have a lot of numbers heading his way.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people clicking on his website, so he does probably get the traffic, and that leads us to the ugly truth of B2B A/B testing.
Yes. So now let's take a step back. You're a B2B team, marketing team, responsible for a website. How many website visits in total per month do you think we're getting? It could be from like 10 to 20 to 30 people a month to a few hundred per month. I would say most B2B companies, they're getting a few thousand visits per month at max.
Yeah.
If you're a big one, maybe 10, 20,000, but like 3,000-4,000 maybe a month. But that, like, a visit is sometimes, it's a top of the funnel metric to me, a vanity metric. You don't know who's visiting.
Exactly. You don't know who's visiting. And if you've got some random campaign going on for some broad search campaign, then you're probably getting a lot of like noise coming over. So
toilet store visits. Yeah. So you don't know if it's a good visit or a bad visit until they start taking action on your website. So to me, the only way to measure a B2B website A/B test would be to track the number of conversions, how many people actually fill out a form or buy or actually take action on something. that is on the website. That's what we
Okay.
call a conversion.
And how many conversions do you need for a true statistically significant A/B test?
Now I'm glad you asked, Alicia. That's $1 million question. See, there's no one number that makes everybody agrees on, but I did some extensive research for this episode.
Okay.
And do you want to know what I found out?
What did you find out?
I found out that the lowest number of conversions, people taking action in an A/B test, that will like most people will agree is the minimum.
Bare minimum.
Bare
okay.
minimum is 100 conversions per A/B test.
In
And a typical A/B test where you change one thing should run between 2 to 4 weeks at minimum.
okay, so in 2 to 4 weeks, you need 100 people to, let's say, click your book a demo button
And fill out the form.
and fill out the form.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot for most B2B companies. I think not a lot of, and that's just on one page. You could have 30 forms on your website. You could have a brochure, a white paper, a ebook, or a webinar, or a podcast that people kind of can fill out their form, or a free trial, or a demo request, or a contact us button. And you're only measuring one of those.
Yeah.
So a sub page on your website taking in 100 leads in a month, 2 to 4 weeks, it's a lot.
Yep. Yep.
And that's the bare minimum, Alicia.
Okay.
So our buddy Peep Laha at Winter, he says, I don't trust an A/B test unless it has at least 300 conversions,
Okay.
at least. And what I kind of found was the common consensus is the kind of, this is the number of conversions you should be looking at before it to be statistically significant is 500 conversions. So 500 conversions on one action
In 2 to 4 weeks,
in 2 to 4 weeks.
which is the ugly truth.
This is the ugly truth. If you ask me, A/B testing makes no sense. It's a distraction, it's a waste of time, and you need to find another way to test your campaigns or your landing pages or whatever you want to test.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I know that it feels like it's something that you want to do. Product wants to A/B test.
Yeah.
You know, they're thinking about doing something new or leaning into a particular type of a, you know, app or feature where they want to build out a little bit more. So they say we should A/B test some messaging around it. But
Yeah.
the numbers and the traffic aren't statistically significant enough that you would get a true and justified answer.
That's the thing. And sometimes I feel like people forget that, you know, clicking on something doesn't mean you liked it. You know,
Yeah.
it needs to be an action that shows that some kind of commitment or like some kind of, that it was a valuable action for it to make it actually something that contributes to the result of an A/B test. So,
Right.
so unfortunately, it doesn't work for B2B at all, if you ask me, and people should just skip it altogether unless you have a very high volume of traffic and conversions.
Okay. And what are alternatives in your mind?
Now, that's the tough question because I don't have a perfect alternative to an A/B test because an A/B test is such a dreamy way to test if something is working or not. But there is no magic silver bullet that kind of goes, oh, just do this instead.
Yeah.
Instead, you need to just one thing you can do is ask people, you know, just show them and try to get more like a customer research angle to it. Another way to do it would be to just get really good at analytics and look at the metrics and stuff like that. But
And I guess it depends on what we're going to A/B test. So let's say we're A/B testing some new messaging or something like that.
yeah,
There are ways to do this where you can get a sense for how your ICP is feeling about this message, if they get it, if they don't.
yeah,
So maybe ask your sales team to build in, you know, some of these words into a sales pitch
Yeah.
and see if you get any extra head nods.
yeah. The head nods. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you get a head nod, you know that it's reaffirming what you're saying.
If you're in a sales call or a customer
absolutely.
call, yeah.
And more often than not, it's like, yeah, hopefully it's a good head nod, not a like, just I'm nodding and thinking about something else. But if it's a true sales pitch and you've got like, you've got their attention, this is a good place. If you guys have been spending time and energy on your LinkedIn, and especially your own personal LinkedIn, if you're a product person or if you're the CEO, it's also a really good place to message test. You can write a couple of messages and see if you get any good responses. But again, you can't look at the analytics of it, like the impressions, because LinkedIn is such a varied platform.
Yeah.
It's going to be your mom, your high school friend, your college friend, and maybe a customer who are liking it. So,
Yeah.
but like any positive comments or a comment, any just little signals that shows you that you're on the right track, it's something that you can, go off of.
But take it with a grain of salt too, because likes, for instance, like we talked about it, I think in episode 2, was like, I don't like posts unless there's something crazy going on if I like a post. But I mean, a lot of people might like your post, but not like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
what
not
I
thumbs
mean.
up it. Yeah. So you need to take these vanity metrics or top of the funnel metrics with a grain of salt, and more look at the bottom of the funnel or middle of the funnel metrics, like actual conversions, people actually taking action, like asking for something from you, like a call. Those are more committal metrics to me. But at the same time, it's tough to get the volumes you need. So we did this a lot at our earlier job. We A/B test. That's why I'm so pissed off at A/B testing, because it never worked for me. We did a lot of them, and it was always the same story. It was always like, okay, we've been running this test for 4 weeks now, and B1, like option B1 with 0.003%.
Yeah.
That's not significant, statistically significant.
No.
So what did you end up with? Nothing. Also, you have to wait 4 weeks for it, and or even worse, this was my favorite. Okay, the results are in. A/B testing is done. Who won? We didn't have enough traffic or conversions.
Non-conclusive.
Yeah, non-conclusive. Thank you for nothing. So that was every A/B test I ever did.
So long and short, I mean, I think the most important thing is like look for patterns in how people are reacting to the things that you are putting out there. I mean, talk to your customers. You could do a survey.
Yeah.
Do you think sometimes certain A/B tests can lead you astray? Like maybe the data doesn't actually translate to what you're trying to look for?
I think definitely can happen. It's like if you aren't really familiar with what's the proper way to A/B test. If, let's say, for instance, you change more than one thing, if you change a bunch of things, you change this color of Donald Trump's tie to blue. You also change the position of the CTA. You also change the copy. You don't know what you're testing anymore.
Yeah.
That's a problem. Also,
and you're trying to cram all the tests into one because it takes 2 to 4 weeks.
Yes, exactly.
So
that's probably you're trying to find out too much, in one test. It's not measured, like that doesn't count anymore. Another thing is that you have to remember, marketing often has a lot of stuff going on in their mix at the same time. So if you're going to A/B test 2 campaigns, like from Facebook, you might have Google ad campaigns going on at the same time. Also, you went to that conference in the UK. Also, you're doing sales cold outreach. There's a lot of different things happening at the same time. So I always laugh when people go, this here specific single campaign delivered this ROI. How do you know? Because you're running so many things at the same time. So it's tough to know exactly what was the reason. So I think these kind of tests, there's no perfect way to do them, if you ask me. But doesn't mean some of them aren't worthwhile, but just a pure A/B test of changing one thing on a website, for instance, not going to work, I think. And I'll die on that hill.
If you haven't seen this pattern, there's going to be a hill that Ómar dies on in every episode.
There's going to be so many hills by the end of this show.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to have all the hills with a little grave on each one.
One question for discussion for y'all is, sorry about that.
I like the y'all.
I'm seeing like a trend, and I think it's possible. It's easy for B2B to want to look at trends and frameworks from B2C when it comes to stuff like this? Why doesn't it translate well?
I would say that, and this is something I learned the hard way, to tell you the truth, Dino, is that nobody goes to school to learn B2B marketing. I've never heard about a B2B marketing degree anywhere. And so most people that are in marketing either are there by accident or like they went to school to learn B2C marketing. So we see a lot when we're working on with companies on the agency side, when we're working there. We see a lot of companies hire B2C marketeers to apply B2C tactics to a B2B company. And that's just not going to work. It's a completely different game. So B2B is longer sales cycles. You got a buying committee. You got way smaller volumes of traffic and conversions than other ones. Sometimes the buyer's not even the end user. So there's several things that are different. You typically, B2B usually has a sales team or is in product-led growth, pure product-led growth. There's a few things that are just completely different beast than from B2B to B2C. So you can apply the same tactics.
And usually your market is like a lot smaller, so you can't just put more money and grow your audience.
Yeah.
Or, you definitely have a more niche audience that you're trying to go for.
Yeah.
So that also plays into budgets and how you run your campaigns.
I think that's what most B2B teams or marketing teams tend to do, is when things get tough, just spend more on ads, But that's we tried that. That doesn't work unless you have a really good strategy behind it. And at some point, it starts diminishing it also.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So if there's anything that might work on the A/B testing side for B2B ever, is if you have a pretty kind of your what do you call it, a total addressable market, or your market that you're looking at is sizable, and you have a big marketing budget to spend on ads or campaigns, then it might sometimes be a little bit that it could work. But for most websites, it's never going to work.
No. And oftentimes I think how campaigns are run from that perspective is also just like, it's not a true A/B test, right? You're going to give it 5 versions of a headline and 5 versions of a description, and the algorithm will choose the one combination that it likes the most.
Yeah.
Most? The algorithm will choose a combination that it likes the most.
That's usually what the campaign manager's done. I mean, when I was running LinkedIn ads myself back in the day, and I loved, when I thought A/B testing worked, I loved setting up 6 scenarios of different stuff. And I was like, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was just testing everything at the same time. But I would just put like 6 versions live, all of them different, didn't know what I was testing, but I was kind of hoping the algorithm would just figure out what the best one was.
Yeah.
But what the algorithm did was it was too early. It was just like, it picked the winner very fast and just pushed it.
Right.
So it just very quickly, it would kind of go, okay, this one is a little bit better than the other ones. Let's just run with that one.
But okay, the moral of this story, which I love, is like, nothing's going to break. You know what I mean? You put in a message out there that's a little bit that you want to try to test. It's okay if it doesn't move, like if you put a headline on there and you're seeing that people are not clicking or anything like that, like it's okay to test things out, and chances are you're not going to burn the house down. So the long and short of this podcast is, don't A/B test, don't waste your time on it.
But it's okay to set up experiments if you know what you're testing.
Yeah, but I mean, but even if they know what they're testing and you're not going to get the results, like, are you going to get, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, if you're setting up an experiment and you know what you're testing, then you know you'll need a certain volume of things.
But they're not, but the message is they're never going to get the volume.
Unless you have a big enough, but yeah. So yeah, all right, you're right. It's I
don't want to confuse
I was
people.
just trying to be kind to A/B testing a little bit, but yeah, A/B testing doesn't work for B2B, period, if you ask me.
What should they do instead? I know we kind of touched on it at the beginning, but I'd love to maybe close with like, what are a few actionable small things they can do instead of A/B testing to still get statistically relevant information?
I mean, what I would say, like if you asked me 3 years ago, I wouldn't really have a perfect answer for you or a really good answer. But what I could say now is we have a lot of data in the world now. Like there's a lot of data out there, but most people are not, don't have time or the skill set to analyze all that data. That's where AI comes in. So you can kind of use AI to plug in and feed it with a lot of data to help you interpret what's going on. For instance, one thing you can do is you can try to pull out like campaign data or website data, throw it into AI, and try to analyze it together, so to see what's actually going on. Because most people aren't, equipped to do that. That's kind of what we're doing with Optize, obviously, but for websites. But that's kind of the best thing that I know about is actually being able to interpret and decipher the data yourself with the help of AI to kind of make informed decisions through insights,
I think that if it's from a messaging standpoint, that you should test it out when you talk to customers and potential customers. Slip in the sentence and the word or whatever, the product, the feature that it is that you think might be interesting, and see if you get any head nods from it. And it's not going to have any statistical significance, and it's going to be very much based off of this one particular person that you're talking to at this point in time. But then if you look at a pattern over time and you speak to a variety of them, you might come to a ballpark as to which way you want to head.
And I guess when you're speaking to somebody, it's more like there's more depth to it than just like yes or like this version or this version. So you're taking in more. You can ask more than one person. You can ask maybe 10 people or 20 people, and then like you get that nuance of their answers.
Exactly.
So that is our favorite, is to talk to your customers.
That will be my hill.
Yeah, that's the hill you'll die on. Yeah. All right, yeah. If you're a marketing team, don't. This is advice from, I think I can speak for both of us here, is like, don't just sit there, talk to sales, talk to your CEO, and just say, I want to sit in on sales calls. I want to shadow. I want to hear what the salespeople the potential customers are saying. How do they describe their problems? Listen to what they're saying. And also, talk to customer success or account management and sit on customer calls. That's the best way to learn what your customer wants.
Or conduct interviews yourself.
I mean, do it yourself,
yeah.
But do it, don't wait for somebody to drag you into it.
No.
Be aggressive and it's kind of just ask to be in those calls or meetings.
Yep. And make one specifically about, if we're going to be talking about customer research, which we might be doing at some other point in time. But the thing about customer research is, don't be afraid to book a call with your customers to just talk about them.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to wait for the next sales call or the next monthly call. Say, I want to hear about how things are going with you. And it has nothing to do with their account. It has nothing to do with the services that they're providing for them. It's literally just to touch base. And you can say, like, we are just understanding how you are using the product. We would like to know more about what your fears are, what what keeps you awake at night. So then we can incorporate that into our product rollout as we continue to roll out our product. And then it's going to be a good way to open the door and just have people open up and have it be half an hour, and it could just be you and them. It doesn't have to, your account manager doesn't have to be there. And, make sure that you've got like AI note taker there, taking all the notes and verbatim.
I can recommend Fathom for that. It's a free note taker tool for meetings. For some reason, I was just thinking about that. They're like sitting on meetings all over the world, just taking notes.
But do they keep it for themselves? Is that
probably why? It's free. If you don't know how the product works, you're the product. That's just. But I'm okay with them just stealing all my meetings. It's such a handy tool. So I think to sum up, just knowing what's working and what's not is tough. and A/B testing is not the way in B2B, unfortunately. In B2C, maybe, unless you have a really big B2B kind of enterprise company, maybe it could work then. But for most B2B companies, A/B testing doesn't work. So you got to find another way. And that could be just getting really good at analytics or hiring somebody to help you out with that. Or it could be just very good at talking to your customers and prospects.
So if you are a member of a small to medium, small marketing team, and your CEO comes to you and says, I want to A/B test, you can say no.
You can say Ómar and Alicja said you need at least,
Yeah.
I'm going to say 300. I'm going to make that my
You
threshold.
don't have enough traffic.
Yeah, or conversions.
Thanks for listening to All the Hats podcast. And if this episode saved you 4 weeks of A/B testing, send it to one of your fellow small team marketers.
Hit subscribe, hit like, share with everybody you know and their grandma. We love talking B2B marketing over here. Next episode is going to be about website redesigns and why they're dead and what people should do instead. Something very close to our hearts. So look out for that episode, and thanks for listening, and have a good one.